It is Preptober time. We have officially made it to my absolute favorite time of year. I love this time of year. It's busy, but it is so much fun. New stories, community, hanging out with everybody here on the Heart Breathings channel, in the Heart Breathings writing community. It is going to be so much fun getting to really prioritize my writing, which for me is one of the benefits of NaNoWRIMO. It's going to be amazing and so much fun. Also, spooky season and all things that have to do with that. But really, National Novel Writing Month in November starts now, because this is Preptober, where we get ready to start writing our novel. We prep everything. So if you're as excited as I am, go ahead and hit that like button. Let me know in the comments whether you're participating in Nano this year and what you're going to be writing, because I cannot wait to read all these comments. But here's what we're going to do today. We are going to just take a look briefly at the tools that I am using. I'm not going to go super into depth on it because I have an entire video on tools, but I'm going to tell you, here's the steps that I take whenever I prep for a new novel. Not just NaNoWRIMO, because I know that Nano isn't for everyone, and I still want these videos to be relevant for you. I see you, non-Nano participants. But we're going to go through those order of steps, and throughout the month of October, I'm actually going to be walking you through those steps. So we're going to have topics about how to choose your idea and brainstorm something great, how to start your book with a really good hook, how to pace your novel, how to world build and set up your setting, how to set up your Google Docs or your manuscript. So many great videos, and I hope you're looking forward to them just as much as I am. But before we get started, one of the biggest tools that I am using every year is my phone. I use it for when I'm out at a coffee shop. I use it when I am setting up my reels and social media and other things like that. I use it for research. How cute is this new phone? It's like very jingly because I have all these extras on it. This is the Samsung Z Flip, but I didn't just upgrade my phone this year. I also upgraded my phone service. So let's take a minute to talk about my partner for this video, Mint Mobile. I honestly cannot say enough nice things about Mint Mobile. I made the switch over to Mint Mobile about a month ago, or a little over a month ago. And even though I have been using up my data, so making phone calls, text service, but mostly Reels, streaming Spotify, streaming YouTube videos, all on my data plan. I have been using it at coffee shops, on the airplane, traveling to Tampa, and I have really put it through the ringer. I think I used 10 gigabytes last month of data, which is way more than normal, and my bill didn't go up at all. So I have not seen any difference in the actual quality of Mint Mobile service, but there's a huge difference in the cost. Their lowest plans start at $15 a month, which comes with unlimited talk and text here in the United States. But if you want to upgrade, they do have unlimited data for just $30 a month. And for a limited time, if you use my link with Heart Breathings, I'll have it for you down below, or you can scan this QR code here to get this deal. You can get your first 3 months of unlimited plan for only $15. So they're cutting it in half. And I know you might have seen Ryan Reynolds promoting this, and he's calling it the Mint Mobile deflation instead of inflation. And I know there's so many of us right now that not only use our internet to get our Instagram reels up, to connect with our fans, to watch our YouTube videos, and to listen to those podcasts about how to publish our books. We need that data, but what we don't need is high costs. So if you want an excellent service and you want to upgrade your mobile phone service, just like I did, for a lot less, I highly recommend that you check out Mint Mobile. If you make the switch, let me know in the comments, because I know you're going to love it. I wish this was available to everyone in the world, but it is just here in the United States. And this offer is only going to be good to the end of October. All right, back to our Preptober plans. So there's probably some of you right now thinking, okay, Sarah, you got me. What in the world is NaNoWRIMO and what is Preptober? Well, this is the 20th year of National Novel Writing Month, and NaNoWRIMO is just short for National Novel Writing Month. It happens every November for the past 20 years. Hundreds of thousands of authors from all over the world get together to attempt to write 50,000 words each in just 30 days. So that is just shy of 2,000 words a day, 1,667 words a day for the entire month on average. It's not easy, but it is a fun challenge. So we're going to talk a little bit about that as a challenge. There is a website where you can join. It's called NaNoWRIMO.org. I will have it linked for you below. But there are so many of us who love to try out this challenge and focus on community and getting together and just focusing on our writing that we also have begun prepping everything in the month of October. So that is called Preptober. That's why we call it Preptober, because really, if you want to set yourself up for success, whether you are a plotter or a pantser, it's so important to have a few things set up before November begins, because you don't want to spend your precious writing time every day trying to make a decision about what genre you're writing, or fooling around with mock covers, although some of us probably do that anyway. But you want to try to make as many decisions and set things up in your space and set things up for success as you can before November 1st starts, because that 1667 is not always easy to get. So getting yourself excited, getting yourself prepped is a part of the process that I absolutely love. And we're going to do it together here at Heartbreathings. So here is just a quick look at some of the tools that I like to use, but I will be doing a video on my writer must-haves, which some of these are not must-haves, they're just extras. But what I do like to have for myself is some kind of colorful pens or highlighters to color code my story. I like to use page flags, these sort of whiteout tapes, as well as sometimes the sticky tape, because I like to put pictures in my story notebook. I have a pen case, so I'm going to be using this Delphonics one. I also love to grab some candles because it's fun to set up almost like a ritual for my writing. I don't know for sure that I'll use this one, but it sure is pretty. But you know how they say, like, when you're studying for a test, you should use the same pencil that you're going to use when you take the test, because there's something about that muscle memory and like putting you back in that setting. I feel like candles and using the same tools can be like that sometimes for our writing too, where if you spend the whole month of October with one candle and one scent in your room, when you light it also for November, it'll be like you remember what you put together for that story. Some people might not believe that, but I think it's fun. I also have these Samsung earbuds. Look how cute this case is. Done by the same person who did my phone case. I just got these in yesterday, and it's like, I love it, but it is really clicky. So I apologize for that. So I have these for when I don't have a lot of space, like I'm just putting it in a purse and I'm heading out the door. But I also have these Soundcore ones. I will link these in the must-haves video coming up. These are over the ear ones, and I really kind of wanted like something like the AirPods Max, but they're so expensive. These were so much cheaper. I got them on Amazon through one of the Amazon Prime deals, and it lasts 60 hours. I still haven't even had to recharge these, and I've been using them for weeks. So highly recommend having something like this for if you like to go to coffee shops, or if you have a lot of noise in your home environment, having some kind of earbud, headphone, or something like that. I take these with me when I have a little bit more space in my bag. I also love using different keyboards. So I have a super cute keyboard that I'll probably be using for the most part on my desktop computer. But sometimes if Evie wants to be playing outside, or I get set up on the kitchen table because Evie's playing with some coloring or something like that, having a portable keyboard helps me to get those words in even when the kids are playing. So this helps me a lot. I can also use something like this in bed with a little tray, like a laptop tray that I have. So I like this. This is so cute, and it's very clicky. Keys, probably overpriced for what it is, but it's just a Bluetooth keyboard that I use with my iPad. But when I'm going out to a coffee shop, I usually don't take this because this wouldn't really fit well into a backpack. But what I do take is either my laptop. So this is a Samsung not a Chromebook, but this is a Samsung Galaxy Book 2. And I love it. It is touch screen, and I do have somewhere around here one of the S Pens that you can write on the screen, which I like to do in OneNote. So this is my laptop these days. I no longer have a MacBook Pro. I sold it. If you want to know why, I can do a story or something about that. I also have this cute little keyboard. So it's just like a magnetic closure. It's super, super thin and lightweight, and it's just Bluetooth. So if, let's say, I am out and I don't have enough space in my bag to carry a lot of stuff. Like Andrew is playing baseball all season. So if we're out at the baseball field and we've got 45 minutes before the game starts, I can just set this down on the bleacher, connect it to my phone, and I can write in Google Docs. Now, if you write in Scrivener, won't be as easy, but you could write in like Notepad or notes in your phone and then transfer them over. But something like this is super handy for those times when you don't have a lot of space or you don't know if you're going to get a chance to write and you don't want to take your laptop. I have a timer, I have my index cards, I have Post-it notes. All these things are basically ready to go, and I can't wait to set it all up. I also have a B6 Stalogy that is my story notebook, and I'm excited to be using that. But again, I will have a specific video that has what I would say are my must-haves for writers, which some of these might be on there, but there'll also be some other things that I feel like are just kind of essentials for writers. Also, like I said, the 2023 Preptober planner is almost finished. It's going to be better than ever this year with a daily planner or a weekly planner option. And it's going to have meal planning and other things there for you. It'll be ready on Sunday. So make sure you're subscribed to this channel so you can get a full flip through of how to use this planner to set yourself up for success in November. If you are already on my newsletter list, you will get this for free. And you'll also have access to my editing, my plotting, and all my other resources in the resource library. When I am getting ready to write a novel, the first thing I do is decide what I'm writing. So I'm going to talk about that in a minute in terms of what I'm writing, because I already know and I know what my goal is. So that'll come up in just a second. But the first thing I do is I brainstorm and I try to figure out what I'm working on. Now, as a professional author, sometimes it doesn't work out that I have the ability to start a brand new book in November. So last year, for example, I was a NaNoWRIMO, and that just sometimes doesn't work out. So you can still do Nano, even if you're in the middle of edits on another book or something and you can't really take a month to just write something new. There's technically rules, but nobody's like a professor here. We're not in college. It's just for fun. So feel free to just start something new or to keep working on an old project. But we'll talk about that in a minute. But that's the first thing, is decide what story I'm writing. The second step that I like to take is to prep all the tools that I will need. So I'm going to be setting up my notebook. I will be setting up this plotting wall, but this gets a little bit more complicated because I'm currently using it for a different story. So I'll show you what I'm going to do for that. But I also set up my Google Doc. I set up my Google folder, and I'll show you all of that as we progress through Preptober. Next, I like to outline my book. And at first, this is going to be just big picture stuff. Like, what's the midpoint? Who are the characters? And I basically just figure out the big chunks of my story. Where do we start? What's the setting? Is there any world building I need to be aware of? What are the major plot points? Who's the enemy here? All of those kind of questions. And I'm going to walk you through those questions when we get to the video on how to create a simple outline for your novel. So again, make sure you're subscribed because I have lots of good stuff coming up for you. But I try to figure out as much as I can about the story without overthinking it. And this at first is just big picture things. Then I really dive into my character. So I do at this point have 3 or 4 years worth of Preptober videos. And I did one last year about how to create a character profile and figure out your characters. This year, we're going to go a little deeper and figure out your character's arc and how that is going to play into your plot. So we'll go a little bit more expanded on what we learned last year, but I will also link those previous year's Preptober videos if you want to take a look at those in the description below. Once I have the world building figured out, the magic system, and again, I don't have to have it all figured out. And this is kind of where we'll take a pause, because novel prep is not about what I do or what someone else tells you to do. Novel prep is about what works for you. Some people do not like to know about their characters before they start writing. They like to discover their characters as they go. So if that is resonating with you, do it that way. In the writing community, we so often have gurus who tell us this is the way you have to do it. You got to have your entire magic system figured out ahead of time. You have to have your entire series plotted out. You need to know every single detail, 5-page character profile figured out. None of that is a have to. It's just, what do you want to do? Some people do 30 pages of outline and world building. Some people do 150 pages of world building. Some people know every tiny, minute detail of their world before they start writing. Some people just have a vague idea, and the fun and experience of writing is the discovering of that world. Whichever way feels intuitive for you to do it is the way that you need to give yourself permission to do it. The way I like to think of it is, it's sort of like you walk into a clothing store and you try things on. And if it fits you, you buy it and you take it home. If it doesn't fit you, you put it back on the rack. And that's the way all of this advice is. Try it on, see if you like the note cards, see if you end up wasting time, if you ended up actually using them in your novel or not. Try things on just like you're trying on a jacket. And if you like it, continue to use it and put it in your toolbox of things that you can use in the future. If it didn't work for you, or in fact, it actually hurt you in terms of your productivity or your inspiration, then you are fully 1000% given permission to just say, that is not a tool for me, and I'm just not going to do that. I think so often as writers, we get in this, we're all good students. And we just get in this mindset of like, I need to do it right. And because we haven't quite figured out our own process, there can be this desire to follow someone else's process exactly. But part of your job of being a creative and being a writer is discovering your own best process. And that might change, frustratingly enough, from book to book or series to series, or as your skill increases, some of that stuff is going to change. And that is what makes this a challenging, but also fun and rewarding career. So give yourself permission to do it the way you want to do it. But for me, I am going to be working on something new for NaNo. And so I want to have some world building in place, because for me, if I get stuck on those decisions in the middle of November, I will not be able to write and I will not be able to move forward. So ask yourself, am I good at writing even if I don't know what happens next? Can I power through? Can I discover it as I go? Or do I, according to my intuition, really need to have it figured out first? And that will really guide you into how much prep you need to do before you start your book. Once I have all my space set up, my document set up, I know a lot about the big picture parts of my plot. That's when I start to go into scenes. So I like to use just these 3x5 index cards, and I like to figure out my scenes. Now, if you want to see what I write on my scene cards and how I figure those out, definitely check out my entire video series here on YouTube about how to write engaging scenes. And I'm going to walk you through an entire process, and there's a workbook that goes along with it. So I will link that down in the description for you. And we'll also go through some of that stuff in the month of October for Preptober coming up. I've had some people also ask, like, how do you create a mock cover? So this is something I'll be sharing in my YouTube shorts of just the easiest, simplest way to create a mock-up for your cover art, so that you at least have something that you can put up on the NaNo site or that you can put into your manuscript to get yourself excited. Now, a lot of times, like when I'm working on book 12 or The Disappearance of Vanessa Shaw, I don't need a mock-up because I actually already have that book cover paid for. But for this new project, I need a mock-up. So I'll be making one on YouTube Shorts. So make sure you're subscribed to see that. And then finally, the other thing I'm thinking about a lot of times in the month of October is, how do I prep my life for writing a novel? And this is true even if it's not NaNoWRIMO, but NaNo, I get more specific about it or more intentional about it, because I need for my entire family to be on board if I'm going to hit that 50K in just 30 days. I don't always have that tight of a deadline for myself. Obviously, I've been working on the same book for a year, but when I do have a tight deadline, I like to prep my life. And that means meal planning, thinking ahead, getting more support from my partner, saying no to social activities and things like that. So we'll also talk about that as we get towards the end of Preptober and we really start the countdown to NaNo. So the next question, of course, is what am I writing and what are my goals for NaNo? So 2023, I'm going to be working on something brand new, and I would love to hear what you're working on, what your goal is, because you can have the 50,000 word goal. If you go to nanowrimo.org, you can start a new project and then you can say that you want to associate it with an event. So if you're going to do Nano, you would associate it with NaNoWRIMO 2023. If you do that, it's going to automatically set your goal to 50,000 words because that's the rule, is 50,000. If you want to participate in NaNoWRIMO, but you don't want to go for 50,000 because you know it's not good for your mental health, you don't want to burn yourself out, you want to take it a little easy, then you can set up a project over at NaNoWRIMO, but don't associate it with an event. Just set it up as a project, and then you can set your own goal and you can kind of cheerlead and be a part of it. You're just not a part of the official event, and that can work. Or another alternate option is you can join the event and then just not worry about it if you don't hit 50K. It's okay to not hit 50K. It doesn't make you a loser. It doesn't mean you lost Nano. It just means you didn't write 50K. It means nothing about you as a person or as a writer. It's just a fun challenge. If there's one thing I could get across to everybody watching this is, you know, if pressure and competition makes you excited and it pushes you forward and it makes you write more, then go for it. If it adds too much pressure to your life, then it's okay to not do it or to just not care if you win or not. This is not a college class. This is just for fun. So allow yourself that feeling of like, it's okay if I don't do it, and just use this as a tool for motivation, not as a tool to beat yourself up. Okay, so my story. So if you have not watched my videos before, my name is Sarra Cannon and I am the indie author of 27 novels. Most of them are young adult fantasy or contemporary fantasy, portal fantasy books. And I have sold over now 1 million copies of my books, which is super exciting. And I am very happy for that. However, I have not had a book release in 2 years due to spending a lot of time on this YouTube channel and courses and moving and all these other things. And so last year I decided that instead of working on the 12th book in my Shadow Demon saga, I would work on a new book. And this is called The Disappearance of Vanessa Shaw. I actually started this book back in 2018, thought I would finish it in 2022. Just finished the rough draft a couple of months ago. I finished the second draft and now I'm in final edits of the second half of the book. Fingers crossed, please send me all your good energy that I can actually finish this book before November 1st. And in fact, I'm hoping that I can actually finish it and get it up for pre-order as well. So deep breaths, I'm going to do the best I can, but that is what is currently set up on this plotting wall back here. And I like to set things up like Act 1, Act 2, Act 3 on this wall, but I don't want to reset this because I have notes right now that I need. So what I'm going to be doing instead is I'm going to be setting up my new story in my B6 Stalogy. And I did a video setting this up, but I also will show you how I'm setting it up for a new book when we get into Preptober. So the new story that I'm going to be working on is still part of my Shadow Demons world, but it's going to be a spinoff and it will be a serial. I haven't even announced this to my fans yet. So if you are a fan of my books, hopefully you're cheering and getting excited in the comments for new characters in the Shadow Demons world. But this will be similar to my series that is titled Sacrifice Me. It's a spinoff. It's part of the same world, but it's new characters. And then you see cameos and things like that. I originally published that story as a serial. It was about 17 to 25,000 words a piece, and each season of the serial had 6 different episodes, all of which ended on a cliffhanger. It was so much fun to write and I really, really loved it. So for NaNoWRIMO this year, I'm going to be sort of indulging in the fun and joy of writing a brand new serialized story. And when I wrote Sacrifice Me, I literally wrote the first episode 17,000 words in a single day. I don't know that I can do that again this round, but I'm hoping in a way that getting back into the world, but writing a new story that feels fun and exciting, that will also weave itself into the 12th book. I have lots of ideas and I can't wait to pull it through, but I'm hoping this process, as well as over the course of the next 3 months, reading back through my entire Shadow Demon saga to get refreshed on the past events and the characters and making sure I'm clearing up all the threads and everything in the final book next year, will be sort of like revving my own engine, for lack of a better way. It's like putting the key in the ignition and starting the car. sometimes when we've been working on the same stuff for a while and there's a lot of pressure, a lot of history, a lot of worry and fear surrounding that writing project, one of the best things that we can do for ourselves and ultimately for our readers, even if we're not like if I asked most of my readers, would you rather have something brand new in this world or would you rather get book 12? Probably 60% of them would say, I just want you to write whatever you want to write as long as it's fun. And then there might be 40% of my fans that would say, just write book 12. But when they got the new thing, they would be excited that there was fun coming, because none of my readers want a book 12 that's terrible, that I hated writing or that I'm not proud of, right? And so as a creative person, part of my job is to get myself excited for my own stories, to get myself passionate and in that place of being able to tell that story the way that it deserves to be told. And I know not everybody agrees with that. Some people are real workhorses when it comes to their writing, and they can power through and write a great book without inspiration. So if that's you, props to you. But I know myself well enough to know that I have to have my whole heart and soul in the book. And there's so much fear and baggage around book 12 of it being the last and making it the best and trying to write it when I was going through a lot of other trauma, that I have to now find a way to sort of cut the cord of fear and restart. I'm like mixing metaphors here, but like restart my own engine, restart my own excitement for this world. And I know that I can do that. So the steps are going to be reading back through all 16 books that are in the backlist of this world and writing this new serial, which will introduce characters that will come into play in book 12. I haven't announced it to my fans yet, but I'm so excited to tell them more about it. My temporary title for this book is A Mirror of Shadows, and it's going to be a portal fantasy. It's going to be totally kick-ass. It will be more new adult than young adult, and it's going to be, I believe, at this point, one point of view. So as I get ready to plot this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use these white note cards, and then I'm going to probably use these like Tombow dual brush pens, and I'm going to pick out 6 colors, and each episode... So episode 1 will be purple, episode 2 blue, episode 3 pink. And when I'm plotting, I will color code not by point of view, which is what I've done with this book because there's 8 point of view characters, but I will color code according to episode, and I'm planning to write 6 different episodes. I don't even yet know when this will come out, how it will come out, if I'll read it live, if I'll put it up for subscription, or I don't even know. All I know is I'm ready to have some fun. I have spent so much time this year trying to just get back to the joy and excitement of writing, and it's here and I can feel it, and I'm so excited for it. So hopefully finishing Disappearance of Vanessa Shaw and getting that up for pre-order or actually released before November 1st, and then writing this new book, A Mirror of Shadows, during NaNo. Now, if it goes like Sacrifice Me, then I'll have 60,000 words. In NaNo would be 3 episodes, and then I'll try to write the rest of it in December. So we're going to just take it one step at a time. I'm going to set up my NaNo goal at 50,000, but if I hit 60, that's going to be my kind of true goal. And I will be sharing it with you every step of the way in daily vlogs called the NaNoWRIMO Diaries. If you want to check out any of my Preptober content from past years or the NaNoWRIMO Diaries, all of that will be available for you in the description. All those links are there. Get ready for the Preptober planner coming. Let me know what you're writing, and let's get moving because Preptober is here. I can't wait to spend it with you. Let's have some fun with our writing, and I will see you in my next video where we will walk through the brand new Preptober planner. Yay! Okay, I'll see you guys next time. Bye!